Hi, I am Jen Wilson, the Healing Rebel. Welcome to this week's podcast. Now, if you are watching the podcast on any platform that's not YouTube, then you might not have got access to last week's podcast because for some reason it would not upload into the platform. So the only place that it was uploaded to was onto YouTube. So if you're on another platform and you want to see last week's podcast, it was me on a panel discussion where obviously there was another technology issue where my face wasn't on the screen. It was just a black screen, which was weird because I could see my face on the screen on my computer, but nobody else could see me. Anyway, you can hear my voice. I was on a panel discussion talking about lifestyle medicine and how it impacted and helped me on my health journey, which I've spoken about before on this podcast. This week, I want to tell you about a very exciting program I have coming up that's starting on the 8th of November. So if you're past the 8th of November, you'll need to wait for the next seasonal intake. But it's Hibernate and Heal, your winter reset. And lots of people have been asking questions about what is it, what's going to happen, who's it for, how does it fix. So if you struggle with ill health through the winter time, maybe you've always got coughs and colds and you're always feeling a bit run down and a bit rubbish, or you are somebody who is always on the go, busy, never have a moment for yourself, wish that you were taking more time for yourself, feel like you're giving to everybody else and that there's nothing left in the tank for you, or you are the sloth that just does nothing. It's like, oh, it's cold, it's dark, let's just not do anything, let's just sit and mindlessly scroll through Netflix. The thing that all of these people have in common is that they feel like things are out of balance. So it might be your health's out of balance, it might be your social connections and contacts that are out of balance, but you feel out of balance. If that is you and you want to bring a bit more balance into your life, if you want to feel like you're going through winter feeling a bit healthier, a bit happier, like you're in control of the situation and you're doing things that you want to do and that you want to say yes to instead of feeling obliged to say yes to, or not getting invited to anything at all and feeling left out of the situation, then we will work on improving that situation for you. I want to show you the tools and techniques and tips that I use through the winter so that I feel good, that I feel nourished, that I feel like I come out the other side when I'm ready. In January, we're getting smashed with the new year, new you. It's time to join the gym, it's time to get fit, it's time to lose weight, it's time to go for dry January, it's time to go for vegan January. It's kind of all these messages are being thrown at us and bombarded. January is still the depths of winter. Most of us are not ready to come out of hibernation at that point. Most of us are not ready for that kind of upregulated energy. And if you have felt through all the previous Januaries of your life that you're just a failure, you're not getting it right, why are you not enthused about doing this? Or maybe you got caught up in the excitement of it, yes, let's go, and then you fell at the first hurdle. It was too hard, too difficult, maybe you made too many changes, they were too big, they were overwhelming, you were out of balance. So we're going to help bring some balance back into your life. What balance looks like for one person is going to be completely different for the other. What feels like it's imbalanced for you in the winter may be different in the spring, may be different in the summer, may be different in the autumn. And I plan to have this as a seasonal program, 12 weeks. So this is taking us from autumn into winter, then it'll be winter into spring, spring into summer, summer into autumn, autumn into winter again. That is the plan, and you can stay for every season, or you can come in for one season and then disappear and then rejoin, or you can just be here all the time, whichever works best for you. But that minimum commitment of 12 weeks, come in, join the fun, come in, let's get you feeling better and balanced. I'm going to go through things like gut health, how to improve your digestion. There will be information about how that really works, why is it when you eat healthy foods, you still feel like crap, or you start to lose weight and then the weight goes back on, or you feel really sluggish and you're constipated, or you've got diarrhea and things are just not going well for you. There's multiple steps involved in your digestion, and it's not just chewing the food, swallowing it, and the body does the rest. If your digestion is not working properly, that's going to have an impact on your overall health because you're not breaking down your food properly, which is going to increase the risk of leaky gut, which is going to reduce the nutrients that your body is able to absorb because your body needs to get the stomach acid to really break down that food so that when it comes into the small intestine, the body can properly absorb the nutrients. And if the nutrients are not broken down enough, the enzymes haven't kicked in. We've got digestive enzymes. If you're not chewing the food and your digestive enzymes are not being released, what can you do? And you could go and spend loads of money on expensive supplements, and I'm not for that. I'm for if we can do something else that gets your body to kickstart its natural way of working, its natural way of stimulating, then that's going to be much better for you than adding in supplements. Because the thing is, if you take a supplement and your digestion still isn't working right, then it's still not going to absorb. Make it make sense. So you end up with very expensive poo, very expensive pee, or at worst case, ending up being overdosed and having a toxic environment because there's too many supplements in your system. Let's make it simple. Let's take these things out. Let's do other stuff and have that medication and supplements as the last resort rather than the first step. So many times I see people asking in Facebook groups, oh, what supplements are we all taking? What supplements should we be taking? Ideally, you shouldn't be taking any supplements. They are only there to supplement a diet if you are depleted in something or your body's not absorbing something properly or you're not getting it through the diet that you take because maybe you've chosen to be vegan or maybe you can't eat gluten, maybe you're celiac, maybe you have irritable bowel syndrome or inflammatory bowel disease where your body's not absorbing nutrients from the food very well. If there's damage there, then maybe we need to supplement, but it should be a last resort. We should be trying to get everything else in place. A lot of this comes down to our nervous system regulation. Society has us switched on. I've talked about this before, being in that sympathetic nervous system state, being alert. Even when you feel relaxed in your job, you're still alert because you're still switched on. You're ready to respond. You're ready to answer. Your body cannot digest food in that state because the blood is taken away from the gut to be in your brain, to be in your muscles, to be in your heart, to be in your lungs, to give you that oxygen, to give you that fight and flight state. We need to be able to get into this parasympathetic nervous system state, and for a lot of people that's difficult. For a lot of people, our posture impacts whether or not we can get into that state. Technique, where our head is hanging forward, loads of tension, loads of pressure in at the base of this neck. There's a lot of your parasympathetic nervous system is stimulated from here. The vagus nerve comes from this point. So if this is all tense and tight, then you're not going to be able to tap into it. The other part is down at the lower part of your back, just around the sacrum area. So if you're sitting and you've always got a really deep curve in the lower back and your pelvis is tilted forward and your tummy's pushed out, your ribs are pushed out, that area is going to be really, really tight. Or alternatively, maybe your tailbone's tucked under, less common in women, more common in men. But if the tailbone's always really tucked under and you're really long through the back, then you're not getting good movement. You need to be able to have the pelvis being able to tilt forward and back, good movements. If you've always got a tight, sore lower back, that's going to impact whether or not you can tap into that parasympathetic nervous system. Just these 2 points alone, if they're restricted in movement, are going to keep you in that heightened alert state, and we don't want to be there when it comes to eating our foods and digesting our food properly. We want to be able to get into this nice steady flow from one place to the other, and that's only one tiny part of it. That's just about the digestion and a tiny part of the nervous system. Other things we're going to look at: physical activity. Are you getting enough? Are you doing too much? Again, we're looking for that. What's the right balance for you? You will be surprised to hear how few steps you actually need to do to have a physiological benefit. I'll tell you about that inside the programme. Or I might tell you about that on next week's podcast, because there is a whole, I still haven't done all the lifestyle medicine conference. I still haven't done all the videos that I wanted to do from the lifestyle medicine conference, so that might be a future podcast about the physical activity. We're also going to look at your healthy relationships. Do you have healthy relationships? Do you have enough healthy relationships? Do you have too many relationships that it's actually you feel pulled because there's too many people that you need to give to and you're not being able to give to yourself? That is a very good question. Then we're also going to look at minimizing harmful substances. Spoke about that on 2 podcasts ago about the endocrine disruptors. And I really only spoke about 2, the phthalates and the BPAs that are in plastics. It was only after I was off, I had finished recording and already uploaded it. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about all the skincare stuff. All the petrochemicals that are in your skincare products and in your food. So there's 2 really good apps that I have recently come across. One of them is called Think Dirty, and that's for all your skincare and like healthcare products, so your toothpaste, your shampoos, your body care, and you can scan the barcodes and it will give you feedback on how many endocrine disrupting and toxic chemicals are in each of those skincare products, which is really useful information because sometimes you're paying an absolute fortune for skincare that is potentially causing you a lot of hormonal disruption. The other one is called Yucca. Let me just get, I think it's YUKA. And that one looks at your food and it tells you whether or not the food is good, like excellent, good, bad, should be avoided. And some things will surprise you. And yeah, Y for Yankee, U for uniform, K for kilo, A for alpha. It's my old travel agent days coming out in me there. That's a really good one for if you have food that has barcodes, to give it a wee scan and just see whether what's in your foods that may be causing you health issues. Really good for helping minimise the harmful substances. Also, on top of that, you've got your alcohol, your smoking, drugs, both legal and illegal. Like, how many pharmaceutical drugs are you taking? How many of them do you need to be taking? How are they interacting with each other? Have you checked with your doctor and your pharmacist? Do you need to be on this medication? I'm not for people coming off medication that they do need, but you need to ask the question, what are you taking this for? What is the benefit? On the NHS Scotland website and on the hold line, when you're waiting to speak to a doctor, they talk and they've got posters up all over the hospital about BRAN, benefits, risks, alternatives, and what if you do nothing. Any medication that you are ever put on, you should go through all 4 of those steps before you give informed consent for taking a medication. So if your doctor hasn't gone through that with you and said, just take this, you need to say, can you tell me the benefits? Can you tell me the risks? Can you tell me what alternatives are out there? And what happens if I do nothing? That needs to be a conversation. If you don't have all that information, you have not given informed consent. And if you haven't given informed consent, you shouldn't be getting given the medication. That is just a fact of the NHS. And I know that well because I have been in the system now for 7 years, more than 7 years, and there are some of my medications that is very much, they talk to me about all 4 of those points before they put me on the medications because the risks are so high on them. I actually have to sign off on some of the medications before I take them because the risks are so high, and unfortunately the benefits of being on them outweigh where I'm at within my health at the time. So it is very important that you do that. Right, so we've talked about healthy eating comes under that digestion first before we worry about what the actual food is going in, but we know no ultra processed foods. Physical activity, how much do you actually have to move to get a benefit? How much do you want and need to move for you to feel good? Your healthy relationships, minimizing our harmful substances. We are I'm going blank on these again. Mental health, mental awareness. I'm going to cover all these things inside Hibernate and Heal. Now, there might be sections there that you think, I'm all right with that, I don't need to put any attention in that, I'm quite happy with how I'm managing this area of my life. That's brilliant. We're only ever going to work on one at a time anyway. I will be in your inbox. So there's no Facebook group, there's no WhatsApp messages, no alerts calling for your attention. There's one email a week that will come out on a Friday so that you've got the weekend to plan and prepare for the week ahead. And if your weekend doesn't start on a Saturday or a Friday night, then you'll just adjust your when you respond to me to suit your schedule. But we set a plan. What area do you want to focus on? I'll point you in direction of the content. You'll work through the content, making the adjustments that you need to make with me there as a support. So you can email me questions at any time and I will respond when I can, because I have classes and clients to deal with and a life and balance of my own. I have set working days. My set working days are Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. And the other 4 days are flexible, depending on what I need and want to do. Because that is the joy of how I have set up my life and how I put my life into balance. And I want to teach you what I have learned, not from a dogmatic, here's the plan, this is what you must do, this is how you must follow this. Has to be this holistic approach. I hate that word holistic, but it has to be this big picture, what works for you. Just because something worked for me doesn't mean it will work for you. And I want you to learn how to get confident with that. A lot of people, like, how many times have you followed a diet plan or followed an exercise plan or got one of these cookie cutter programs from somebody and everybody else seems to be doing great on it and you feel like a failure because you think that you're not doing great on it, but in actual fact the only people that are showing up and are raving about what they're doing are the people that are doing well on it. But there's probably loads of other people like yourself that are like, this just isn't working for me, and it's because it's a cookie cutter program. It's only going to work for a small amount of people, and that's not what I'm about. I'm about giving you options, discussing with you what do you like, what do you not like, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and then creating that program so that it's unique to you. And if there's something inside the membership that doesn't exist, so maybe you need exercises that are done seated and there isn't enough of them, or maybe you need more exercises with balance work, or maybe you need more information on the gut health and the digestion stuff. If it doesn't already exist in the program, I will create it for you if I have the knowledge and skills available. And if I don't, I will get one of my colleagues to help me and to offer that information. So there is lots of ways to be able to get this information. And I just want us to start to merge out of winter this year, next year, 2025, just feeling better. I found 23 into 24 so difficult. Really struggled, really struggled. And I don't want that again. I've got a better plan in place. I have definite things that I'm going to do for me, which I will share inside the membership. But other people's enthusiasm is great, but has to be what's right for you. So if you want to know more, head over to my website, iamjenwilson.com, and then go to the heal, so /heal, or on the website go to work with me and then go to the heal tab. That's where you'll get the information. Or you can check in the show notes, the comments underneath here, where I'll put the link, so you just need to press the button and it will take you directly there. Or you can message me on social media if you've got any questions, if you feel like you need to know more, if I haven't answered a question for you, if you've got a specific situation in mind that you think, I don't know if that will be of any use to me, then do reach out to me and I will answer your question, because it might not be the right thing for you right now, which is totally fine. For example, if you're in a hospital bed and you have got no control over what you do or what you eat, then this is not the right time to be joining the programme. You need to have some autonomy around what you can do. There are other situations where it might not be suitable. So if you are not sure, do reach out for me. Only if you feel called to it, if you feel drawn to it, if you want to work with me, please do join me. And we start on the 8th of November, 12 weeks, does us right through to the end of January. I am looking forward to seeing you in there, and I'll speak to you on the next podcast.